We've got a nice setting here to work at.
I really do. The thing is, this is the Lieutenant River. This gal, Florence Griswold, made a big effort to have artists come here and work, and their conversation was with the landscape itself. You know, that they would do painting, American Impressionists type people settled in here.
That ties right in with grounds of sculpture.
It really does,
you know?
yeah. And some of the renewed efforts in the same vein, you know. So, yeah, this is a great place, and we've had, you know, very good support all around. Everybody's been
Well, you seem
really
to
nice.
attract support.
We did really well in this case, you know. I was out in Kansas before this. We did pretty good. We had some students working, and they were the best student crew I've ever had. So I've just been lucking out one right after another, you know. We did some work in San Francisco early on, and that was funny because we had the mayor had to be part of the support system before it was all said and done, you know.
Yeah.
And our Arts Commission take my proposal, and the mayor finds out about it. They go to the mayor and they say, well, we want him to work, but we thought we would just give him some advice. Maybe he could do another piece. We don't like this. And the mayor's quote was, he said he could do this. Why not do this particular one that he says he's able to do? And so we were proceeded well and did it. And, the Mayor Newsom actually ended the press conference with us.
Oh, good.
And, you know, and we had, not that it's a great audience. What happens is that they set up 5 TV cameras and the mayor talks in front of them. You know, that's a press conference. So anyway, I got to have my say. I was waving my hand in the background. No, I want to talk. No. So I got
Artist.
that's right. I got to talk a little bit beyond his new baby, you know. So that's looking really good.
Okay, I'll look around here. How much more do you think I need?
No, I think that works out really well.
That one.
What I would do now is concentrate on this vertical and kill this vertical.
Bodies
Way to kill this
buried in paper,
in behind the existing wall. Come across.
shards of a calendar falling.
And that's just the way we'll do. We'll just go right around,
And you
you know, to
can't
this
lift
place
the
and that place and the next place. And I think that will really improve it.
change the result of your impending doom. You've been sick since December. Antibiotics could not complete the cellular vector. Germs that would die if you took a day off from your week and you don't work on Wall Street. No one can say that you're in the calm of their head.
If you want.
It's just what you want. The world's pressing on you. I don't think
See some of the sticks up. Bring it up down there. I can't remember. But there's some sticks like this.
Yes.
And you can cut them in 2 pieces. And they really, and there's a bunch of them back in this one. Sure. So you have these two if you need them. You could go get some specifically.
legs that are long. She could make you but I'm not that insistent. I won't work evenings and weekends to pick up your slack. You should take a vacation. Pride work
That looks good. Yeah, I think we ought to try to bring it all up to some level. And then, yeah, try to
and you don't work on Wall Street. No one can say that you're in the palm of their hand, and it's just what you wanted. The world's pressing.
Once you get your saplings for this project?
And I don't
Well, we were gathered yesterday in somebody's backyard. So initially we had a difficult time finding materials. We were gathering at what they call the stump dump here, where people take not their small limbs, but their big stumps and old rocks that they don't want from their yard. And because there is a lot of action with the bulldozer down there, they don't really care if we cut along the margins of the field that they're working in. And then once we got in play, then a lot of the neighbors around have decided that they have things they'll volunteer from their margins of their yards. So we've been out gathering from this person and that person's yard. And mainly it's birch, and it's not particularly bendable, but we're making do with it. At Grounds for Sculpture, you know, we use some maple, we use gum, we use some privet, which was a pretty hard go of it as well. But this has been a good project from start to finish. We just had a good go of it, and a lot of enthusiasm from the organization, and the volunteers have been great. They have a garden gang here that looks after the garden here at Florence Griswold, and so they've been pressed into service, and when they're not ganging on the garden, they're helping us here. My son Eric's a good friend of our family. They've come here to help me work on this piece. Samuel, back there. It's Rich. Hey. Okay, that's great. And what will happen is that continues to obscure that. It's made a big difference. But
You want to figure all this?
yeah, if we could see how, and you can put these kind of at a little bit Xing, but direct them that way. If you could just do a little bit more on that thing, I think it would look a whole lot better.
Okay. So how many is this, Patrick?
Oh, I've probably done more than 200. Maybe I counted the Grounds for Sculpture as one. So we had 5 right there alone.
I think there was more than 5.
Yeah, we had some
Like your
good.
little cabanas?
Yeah, we had the good go of it there, didn't we?
Yeah.
No, so I think it's up into like 202 or 3, something like that. I've certainly worked a lot since I was at Grounds for Sculpture. I was out in Wyoming, Denver, made a piece in Redding, Colorado, and San Francisco, Redding, California.
I wish I checked your website when you were down in Philly. I would have been a lot shorter ride.
I should have let you know, because that turned out to be a great piece.
That is a great piece.
You know,
It's got a great roof.
it really is. I started out with the snail shell looking thing. That was my idea, to turn that into Japanese hairstyle. And then finally went to the Dr. Zhivago at the Summer Palace.
I see we have a friend here who's from Princeton.
And not
Not too
far.
not too far from me.
Yeah,
No, that's
And
exactly
the other
right.
Grounds for Sculpture. So
Were you here when
And I saw
Grounds
the
for
one-
Sculpture when he was working on
I saw it afterwards, and I saw the Morris Arboretum one outside Philadelphia this spring with what you want to call a snail roof, but the fun part of some of these is to watch the difference between the grown-ups and the kids. The grown-ups show up and go, "What is it?"
Yeah.
And the kids run around through the
Yeah.
We know
doorways.
what it is.
The kids
Yeah.
figure it out real quick and
Yeah,
say,
that-
"Oh, isn't this fun?"
That is so true. They, I think that often adults kind of pretend they don't know and can't quite get involved in it, but it takes a little
It
while,
just takes them a little
and then they finly hope
kids
to.
pick it up. Kids pick it up in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I remember doing this when I was a kid. It was,
Well, this is what kids do. They build forts. And this
Yeah.
is kind of
Did a lot.
fort-like, and
Yeah,
this
it's
is a
so
lot
true.
more
I
sophisticated.
think we used sumac.
Yeah, that's a big breaker there. That was a heartbreaker, that sumac was. That's like Tree of Heaven, and some of these other things are lanthus, they're all city trees and really brittle.
Well, we had a whole crop of across the street from my house. So
Oh, really?
we had
Of saplings, you mean?
Sumac.
Or sumac. Oh,
Yeah. I like sumac in the beauty of the berries and so forth, but it is
You
really
built
brittle.
something out of bamboo?
I have worked in bamboo in Japan.
Oh, okay.
It's a difficult thing to work with. It has to be
Yeah, yeah.
split in order to bend. And reeds will bend a little bit, and so, but you break about every
Yeah.
third one, you know. So
But it's fun to see the difference between the shape and the textures.
it really is. And bamboo lasts a bit longer too. It's a little bit.
Is there a maintenance crew, or what happens here?
Well,
60 days from now. For
Well,
example, when it starts?
somebody from the museum will come out and check it every day in case there's a bit of climbing and so
Yeah,
forth. But generally, it settles down in a couple of weeks and pretty much stays
And then
like
stays
that.
that way?
Yeah. Generally, if there's going to be climbing and so forth, it takes place in the first 2 weeks. Everybody comes and tests it out, and then after that, it goes from being them to being us, and so they protect it better, look after it a little more. Here, that's a very good site, because even though there might be people here in the evening, everybody's going to look after this. This is going to be have a lot of longevity in that way.
Well, how did you anchor this?
Well, we drill some holes in the ground here, and you might see that these bigger pieces here go all the way down in the ground, and they're about 30 inches. And we were warned that this was a terminal moraine and there would be lots of big boulders and so forth out here. But as a matter of fact, Lieutenant River is close by, so the dirt and sand and so forth washed up here, and this was a beach at some time.
Never found a rock.
We never found anything difficult to drill through, so it put us way ahead in terms of getting the piece worked on, because we have had situations where I spent days trying to make enough hole to get a good start on a piece.
So in this case, you could put holes where you wanted to put holes.
We did it, and we spread a piece out. The intention is to make a ruin, or like a architectural folly, that like you might throw a slipcover over a chair and still understand what's underneath it, with the thought that architecture is first eroded by sticks that grow up between the cracks in the walkways and finally taken over by vines. And so this is an architectural folly that's kind of fallen back to its in disrepair, and so the sticks and vines have kind of overtaken it, and what we have left is a ruin that has a bit of a tower, a bit of a square tower left, a bit of a round tower, and some architectural features in between, some kind of pillar-looking shapes, and some flying buttresses, and that's all that remains in jungle culture.
A lot of doorways for kids.
A lot of doorways, and the element of surprise that you feel like you could get lost within it. So you could come in one doorway and out the other and say, oh, where was I? So it had to be big enough, the scale had to be large enough to have a sensation that you could be lost and that you could find your way around and continue to discover.
That was the fun of the Morris Arboretum, though. There really was a maze in that one.
Yeah, the fact that you were twisted into the
around,
entire.
and then when you got in, you sort of said, "Oh, I got to go back to the same way I came."
Yeah. No, that turned out to be really good, and I had a lot of trouble imagining it, because it was hard to graph it out and decide, how is each element going to work, and in fact, each subsequent undulation had to have its own uprights in the ground. So this layer of the cake wouldn't support the next layer. So we had to.
That one almost felt like you built the inner core, and then you said, "Oh, let's put another donut."
Yeah,
around
actually,
it.
I worked from the outside in.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I worked on the outside piece and bent those over, and then the next round of sticks went up and then out and then back, and the top ones were up further and then they went out and back, and we had to fake up a kind of top on it.
That's the most elaborate roof I've seen in a long time.
Life-threatening in terms of me getting up on top of a scaffold, and then up on the rail, and then on a ladder, and then climbing up there, holding with one hand, trying to make the top. So
This is a little more conventional. You can put a scaffold inside.
yeah, what to do? So I was happy about it, though. I felt like it really went well. as this one has. This has been great. We've had just a ton of people helping us, and
Does the museum make arrangements for a whole lot of press starting this weekend? And
we've had some press coming in a little at a time. You know, in truth, this area doesn't have that many outlets. What they'd have to do is to find, you know, like Sculpture Magazine and see if they could get
yeah, but I
somebody
mean
to
the
come
TV
over.
stations in Hartford will come down and.
We had a little bit of that, and I think for their summer fest they'll probably be able to garner a
Get
little
some
bit
more.
more. You know, it would look really good having people flooding in and around it.
Yeah, I was going to say it'd be good for the museum and good for this if
Yeah.
there were.
I made a
Constant
piece in
stream.
Ames, Iowa last October, and it's the biggest piece I've ever made. It stretches like from the little house up there all the way down here, and used an existing grove of trees. And there was
That's the one
one
with
moment when
the one
there
with
was
the
a
circles.
ton of people in it,
Mm-hmm.
and it just looked like a town. It looked like you were in Sticktown. You know, it was so it was so good. We have a couple of winter shots, you know, with
Mm-hmm,
this huge expanse of sticks. It made its own circle, kind of half circle, and met already existing path, so you could get off the path here, come back onto the path, and a little bit further along. So that turned out to be. Well, I guess I better work a little
Yeah,
bit.
I was going to say we
Live
better.
or die.
I got to earn my keep.
Yeah.
Bodies buried in paper, shards of a calendar falling to the floor, and you can't lift a finger to change the result of your impending
Hey, really nice meeting you. Thanks for your interest.
You've been sick since December. The antibiotics
You know, with a lot of
could not
artists now, but
compete with
kind of hurting for business. How I think
cellular
You know, I've been amazingly
germs that
busy for the
would
last-
die if you took
the last year. I've only
day
lost
off.
one particular sculptural event and replaced it immediately with something else. So it's possible that, you know, will catch up with me in 2011 or something. But next year I'm completely busy. You know, even though the economy is not all that good, the art museums and all these other art-related situations have to remain open and show the public something. So, you know,
And I think maybe because people aren't going away like they might have gone, they're now maybe spending more time coming to places like this.
well, you know, I think we do have a need for the bucolic and maybe for solace during the worst parts of the economy, you know, that people are seeking out beautiful places, and I like to be working in those same places, so maybe it's all coming together and converging.
It's a nice way to spend your life.
That's exactly it. Well, I think, you know, I can't speak to our own volunteers and their personal happiness, but I think the volunteers we have really enjoyed coming out here and working on this thing. They've all been enthusiastic and really interested, so, you know, from my point of view, that's been a bit of a respite. I don't have to do every single stick, and we were able to take on something that's pretty large. I probably had the same pair of clippers when we were working at the Grounds for Sculpture.
I
So,
thought you would have worn one of those out.
well, I
I've
must
got
have
the
worn
same
the
pair at home.
handle off a little bit. How'd you do?
Okay, it was long. I have to go.
Well,
I've
we do
gotta
too.
go.
We're right at lunchtime. Thank you so
Okay.
much for
well,
your work.
listen, thank
really
you.
was
It was a pleasure.
It was a total
and,
pleasure.
This will be my last time, but I'll come by. Try and come by and.
I'm going to leave my gloves with Amy. I'd like to kind of get everybody who worked on the project to sign them.
Oh yes,
so
okay.
I'll leave them, and then they'll put them with the picture that they're going to make of this piece, and so we'll.
Terrific. All right. Well, I hope I see you again. Some
I hope so,
part
too.
of the world.
All right.
Bali,
That's right.
Indonesia. I don't know.
Well, thank you
Good
so much
luck.
for your good work.
Okay,
You
it
really
was
have the
just-
knack for that.
Well, no, but It's wonderful. I love what you do. I'm
well, thank you.
proud to work on it.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Okay.
Bye now. See if I can find something small enough.
Yeah, it seemed to.
Just out of material is what it is. So there's no hope for it. But anyway, things can't hang out from the wall too far.
Okay.
I'm gonna cut these things off and you can use all these guys.
Sure.
And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put something up there. See, well, other thing is our material is moving that way and you got this part of it going the right way. But then this one is kind of going, and you may not have even put it in there, it's going up the wrong way. It needs to go, all our stuff needs to go up
in that angle?
Yeah, now see, that looks pretty good anyway. So don't even worry about it. Worry about this now.
Okay, so now I got to cover up that.
Yeah, I try to worry about that.
I've been
And as
finding a
it-
lot of big pieces, but they don't bend. I mean, I wish I had small.
See how that guy is? That was kind of in, which way? Start over here and come and let that thing lay on that wall and then jam this down in this wall so that it sits back. You want it all
Okay.
to sit back in there, you know? So you want everything to be pressed back. See how this stuff is moving around? So we want a match set here. We want all, you can take all that little stuff we just cut off and jam it through there
Jam
and
it
pull
through
it
there
down
and
there.
bring it down.
Yeah, so
Okay.
like these guys here, and I don't know, we're down to the nothing.
Not much left.
Nitty gritty. You're from Limelight?
Am I?
Yeah.
No, I'm for myself.
For yourself?
The video that's in the store is mine.
What?
Twisted Logic.
Oh, okay.
What is?
The Twisted Logic video of Patrick
Oh,
is mine.
You think he's twisted?
He is twisted. We've been saying that for years. That you're twisted.
Pardon?
We've been saying for years you're twisted.
I'm totally twisted.
Oh,
It's just getting worse with age, you know. Excuse me, better with age. Excuse me.
That's exactly right.
I hope so.
he might make a sculpture of you, and then.
And sticks, of course. So Patrick, you ever get tired of doing this? Or you just get
Let
tired?
us say today, I'm very tired of this. I'm at the end of the 3-week section. I'm always tired. But I hope to gain some new energy and new insight on the next one.
Are you leaving the line right after the finish, or are you sticking around for
Well, I'm redundant. The minute I'm finished, nobody wants me anymore. I got to go.
You're staying for the festival, though, right? The
No, in fact, I'm not. I've got to be in Omaha. So, what we'll do is we'll have a little festivity on Friday when this thing opens. You know, it opens to the public. This other show does. So we'll, about noon tomorrow, we'll be starting to think about how we're going to finish this guy up.
I'll be drinking coffee at Brown's Sculpture.
Give them my regards tomorrow.
I will.
Tell them I wish I was there. I like them very much.
You generally put a layer of mulch down when you do the outside pieces.
Well, they've got to mow, and I have to take pity on the guy that's got to mow the yard, because if we don't do something, then what they have is a big mess here that they have to mow around and then use a weed eater, and so it'd be better if we kind of looked after it right when we're here. Got adequately fixed up, but that's looking a little bit better.
You know, if somebody wanted to do this on their own, I guess they go through steps to plant something that will keep growing,
You
right?
could put some vines and stuff on it. It'd be nice. There's all kinds of quick growing vines that might help sustain it a little bit. What we ought to do is make a how-to make one in your backyard movie.
That's it?
Yeah, because I get calls every single day, and on my website, could you tell me how to make something in my backyard? My kids need to know how to make something. Yeah, well, Riches can do these things, but if we had something that we could, I send them to a Scottish basket maker who has a book about using living willow, because that's easy to do.
Oh, I guess willow would be a good one, wouldn't it?
You use living
Grows
willow saplings, and you can make all kinds of things out of living willow, and then it grows. And so a lot of schools have taken it on and have a living willow patch outside the school where they're having a small conservatory or an outdoor classroom or something like that, and all the kids work on it every year. And there's a lot of interest in England about living willow stuff.
Well, when you were over in England, and I think when you did a project over there, you actually went to a willow farm, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I've been to willow
I think we had
farms.
still shots of that.
Yeah, we do. That was actually in Ireland, but
Ireland, okay.
yeah. But I've been over to England a couple of times since then, and kind of worked. One time I worked with a group of people at this park to build a kind of something that I didn't have to take credit for. We just hollowed out a little place in the middle of the bushes and made. It was playground for adults. It looked pretty good. I enjoyed myself. I didn't have to do it. I said I would work with them if I didn't have to do one bit of work. So I just kibitz from the sidelines,
Well, I remember from that willow farm. I mean, the gnarly little bases they had for those, with all
Yeah.
the shoots came off of. I mean,
Yeah.
they were
No,
huge.
That's so true. Who's the landscape architect that works out there?
Brian Carey.
Yeah, Brian came with over to see me at the Morris Arboretum as well. He came with Brooke. And also the guy who manages the place. What's his name, you remember?
Bruce?
Bruce, yeah. Bruce is a curmudgeon, but he's kind of nice as well,
Yeah.
We know how you want it to be, but sometimes these things are bigger than you think. You want to go back to New Jersey, but sometimes New Jersey's not as big as you think. The city is like a garden, and if you give it time, it'll grow. The ocean's only 7 hours wide, so sometimes these things are smaller than you think, but all you see is the edge of the tide, and sometimes these things are deeper than you think. No one here is not on your side. I think you know. Hold on.
Wish we could have.
Hold on. See today you're okay. We know exactly what you want, but sometimes what you have is more than you think.
That's
You
close enough.
want to go back to New Jersey,
Take your
but sometimes
this
New
junk and
Jersey's
take it
not
and throw it in
as
our
big
junk
as
pile
you
down there.
When I
all done for the day? It's about time to call it. Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, it's almost there. Very. We're almost there.
Where your heart is where you will be.
Appreciate your
Good time again.
It's a total pleasure seeing you. Really appreciate it.
Heart is
Hi Maggie, I wish you were here, and all the people at Grounds for Sculpture that helped me there, that vast number of people that got behind my project. Wish I could ship you down here to Florence Griswold Museum to see what we're doing. It's an exterior piece, so we're not actually working inside and having all the confines of what to do if we can't drill in the floor. But I really had a good time at Grounds for Sculpture. We made some significant work, and I always feel like that was my retrospective. And now I'm looking forward. So maybe y'all could come down here and see this piece as time goes on. And Brooke, hi.
Brooke's not there anymore.
Brooke, wherever you're at. No, Brooks came down to the Morris to see me at the piece there. It was a great to see her and all the folks that came with her. So, well, maybe I'll get to work at the Grounds for Sculpture someday again. Hi, Jody. I wish you were over here at the Florence Griswold Museum to help me. Come on now. Bye.